No, it wasn't. I already wanted to turn professional, but I think my family wanted me to give it a couple more years. But you know, sometimes can be a bit stubborn. Maybe it should have stayed for the Olympics, but I wanted to turn pro, and I was hungry, and yeah, they supported my decision, and obviously they would have fully backed whatever we were doing, so it wasn't too bad in the end.
And Frank Warren was the promoter that you turned
Yeah.
with. Right decision at the right time?
Frank Warren, yeah, he's I would say at that time, maybe I was young, we're not from boxing background, none of my family, and it was an easy option to take, so yeah, we went with Frank, and that was the start of a professional career.
And your first trainer was, if I'm correct, it was Richie Woodall. How did that kind of pan out initially?
Yeah, because Richie was in the England squad, and I had a good relationship with him, and he was I got on well with him, and it was just like natural course just to ask him if he would, because he knew me from England, so would he train me, and yeah, that's where I started my boxing, and that's how I ended up coming up to Birmingham. And then Richie was a bit more, his style was a bit more amateur, in out, that's not really the way I fight. And John had a bit, I met John, I knew Tom, his son, from amateurs, and I seen the way John's thoughts on the boxing and everything, how he thought about it, and I asked him to train me, and it just gelled, and we've been here since day one, so yeah. I just remember being very, very excited. It was at the O2, a great place to make the debut for my professional career against Johnny, I think he's a very experienced journeyman in the end now, and he's retired, top bloke, and yeah, it was good. It's just get out there, and I was just thinking about what I needed to do, how to fight, the longer rounds, no vest on, so there's a lot to take in, and but it was good, and I boxed well, and got the first win under my belt. I think people like that style. I was always quite aggressive box fighter, and I think people like that, and I think the crowd like to see two people engage in a fight, and yeah, I think it's suited the professional game.
And until around about 2009, it's safe to say your career was bang on track, and you were accumulating quite a few knockouts. So how did you feel things were going at that point in time?
Yeah, I thought it was going okay, steady, and just a nice little place, and a nice pace, and just getting the fights that we needed to under our belt, building more confidence in the game, a bit more being aware of the rounds, and the ring generalship, and how to approach fights and approach fighters in the pro game, and noticing the difference between the amateurs and the pros, and just getting that under our belt. It was going smooth, yes.
And you've had other trainers as well as John Costello and Richie Woodall, obviously Paddy Fitzpatrick, and for a short period Tony Ball. Just talk to us briefly, about those two guys and what you learned during the time with them.
Yeah, just I just with them, just financial issues sometimes. Just had to come back home, so I had to make do with what's the best closest around, and yeah, so I ended up working there with Paddy for a bit, and yeah, just wasn't right. And Tony, he's a great bloke, but John's always been with me all the way through. John, the mentor, everything, any advice, anything I need, John's my trainer, and it was only going to end up that way. John's always been with me all the way through, and as soon as I got some financials behind me again, I obviously was coming straight back up to train with John.
Jamie came to Birmingham to train in Birmingham, and I was working out of I was going up a couple of days a week with Thomas for sparring at Richie Woodall's gym. Richie had opened the gym with Kenny Perch at the time, and Jamie was interested in doing a bit of work with Richie. Richie was commentating at the time for Setanta TV. I think it was Setanta anyway. But he was doing the commentary basically for the boxing. So when he come to Jamie fighting, Richie couldn't take him in. So he'd asked me to take him in, or his dad. So it was me that basically took Jamie in. Then Richie's training methods, and Richie liked a lot of movement in his boxing. Very much safety first, which there's nothing wrong with. That was great for Richie. He brought his amateur style into the pros, and it worked for him. Richie had a very disciplined mentality, and he was a grafter, so he could bring that style into the amateurs. Jamie couldn't get on with the movements. He couldn't relate to the movement. It just wasn't for him. So Jamie asked at the time. He said, he was on about me working with him, and it wasn't ethical because I was in the gym I'd been in the gym with Richie. It didn't feel right. So Jamie ended up working with Paddy Fitzpatrick in Swindon, as we know, and Paddy was in Birmingham. Thomas was on the NIA bill with Michael Gomez, Khan, and Jamie was on it too. And Jamie came in the changing room and said, asked me at the weigh-in, should we go for some food? I said, yeah, we went for some food. Later that day he said, John, would you be able to do the corner with Paddy tonight? I'd appreciate you've been in the corner for all my fights. I said, what's a hand up? I said, yeah. I said, right, look, I'll ask Lenny as well, if Paddy's on his own. So I thought, look, great, I'll ask Lenny Woodall to help us too, Richie's dad. So I asked Richie, no problem. So that was that. Then Paddy, after the fight, fair play to Paddy, Paddy said, John, would you be able to, I'd like you in the corner for, we work well together, I'd like you in the corner for all the fights with Jamie, if you don't mind. And I said, sure Paddy, fine. I said, that's great, no problem. And Richie was fine about it, Richie, John, not at all, Richie was great about it. So that was that, and I used to get down every couple of weeks with Thomas for sparring, and that was it. Jamie would come down to Birmingham, he'd come down to our gym, and it was great. We just cracked on. Anyway, I don't know, 12 months or so through that, Jamie and Paddy parted ways. Had for whatever reason, and Jamie then asked me again, would I train him? Jamie then asked me out now. He said, John, look, would I be okay to train with you? And I said, yes, absolutely. And we never looked back. Except for, we had one thing in Swindon once at a time. We had a lot going on in Swindon. He had to base himself in Swindon, and he worked with Tony Borg for one fight, and Tony's a lovely fella. We've been up there sparring since. Real nice fella. Real nice people actually. And he had one fight with Tony, and then phoned me. He said, John, I'm all right, base back in Birmingham now. And I said, yeah, no problem, James. So he's back again, and we haven't looked back.
How much has he grown as a character over those years?
No, he's crackers. He's just crackers. Jamie's always been crackers. He's nuts. Absolute nut, but a lovely nutcase. He's had it tough, Jamie has. Jamie's had it really hard. He won at the Commonwealth Law middleweight title. Broke his hand, Steve, in the third round. Dinged around, shouting from the rooftops. My hand was smashed. Just took it on the chin about people talking about the low blows and the controversy. And no one knew Jamie's hand was shattered in the third round. I knew. Jamie told me after round 7. And he carried on with that fight. Every metacarpal at the back of his hand was shattered. He was told by 2 leading surgeons he'd never fight again. Started stacking shelves and gave up on his boxing career for pittance. And anyway, I took him down to see Mike Hayton in Manchester about 12 months later, and Mike said he'd get the job done. And Jamie couldn't believe it, and so he got his career back on track, and which was great. And then we know what happened with this allegation, this Russian bit a bit of a thing put in about Jamie assaulting her, which we all know was garbage. He never touched her, and he was acquitted. But you know, we had all that. You know, Jamie being a woman beater and all that nonsense. So we had to get through that. Jamie loses world ranking, loses that WBO European title, loses world ranking, and we're back to square one. So it's been really tough. You know, Frank, Jamie party ways with Frank. You know, they got together and they come to arrangements, and you know, they party company, and Jamie needed a fresh start. He felt he needed a fresh start, and he's done that with Eddie. And he's put up. He's done everything he said he'd do for the man. And so Jamie now, he's in a very good place. He's in a great place. He's happy. So we should see him. No more issues with his temperament. I think you'll see Jamie happy at work, and you'll see the best Jamie Cox. He's a much happier lad today. Still crackers, but he's a much happier lad today than he's happier now than when I first seen him turn pro. 100% he's happier now.
I ended up, to make life easier, living with John for many years, and John and his wife, and it was like home from home for me. It was being brilliant, and eventually getting into an apartment, and yeah, it's not, it's good. It works well, and it works well around the training. Yeah, with John, it's great. We're very, very close. We understand each other. It's like family, and he's a great trainer, and that's it. We just work very, very hard, and we understand what we need to do and the work needs to be put in, and he's like family. He is family. Yeah.
How tough has that been to be away from your family and swimming?
Oh, I'm so used to it, but it makes it more rewarding on the wins, and yeah, this is boxing. I'm so used to it. I think people would find it tough or break, but I'm so used to it. It makes me hungry. It makes me hungry to provide, and come October 4th we will.